Americans of all races joining together to declare, in the face of injustice and brutality at the hands of the state, that Black lives matter. No more, but no less. So that no child in this country feels the continuing sting of racism.
America is not a racist country.
President Trump and I will always support the right of Americans to peaceful protest.
He sent troops in camouflage into our streets. He sent tear gas into the air and federal helicopters too.
We have got to have congressional action.
The radical left doesn't really want better policing.
And when the horrors of systemic racism shook our country and our consciences, millions of Americans of every age, every background rose up to march for each other, crying out for justice and progress.
They don't have pride in our country.
Many on the other side love to incite division by claiming that President Trump is a racist. They could not be more wrong.
But George should be alive today. Breonna Taylor should be alive today. Ahmaud Arbery should be alive today. Eric Garner should be alive today. Stephon Clark, or Tatiana Jefferson, Sandra Bland, they should all be alive today.
Vote for justice for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, because Black lives matter.
Can we become a country that lives up to the truth that Black lives matter?
As George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and a never-ending list of innocent people of color continue to be murdered, stating the simple fact that a Black life matters is still met with derision from the nation's highest office.
For President Trump and for us Republicans, all Black lives matter. All lives matter to us.
And of course we value and respect every Black life. And their lives are being ruined and stolen by the violence on our streets.
My energetic 8-year-old son, Jackson, stopped me and said, "Dad, can you please just tell everyone that all lives need to matter?"
We can't just say those words. We have to live those words. We have to undo the laws and systems that have codified racism for far too long.
One of the most powerful voices we hear in the country today is from our young people. They're speaking to the inequity and injustice that has grown up in America. Economic injustice, racial injustice, environmental injustice. I hear their voices. If you listen, you can hear them too.
And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism. We've got to do the work. For George Floyd, for Breonna Taylor, for the lives of too many others to name, for our children, and for all of us.
Joe Biden says that America is systemically racist and that law enforcement in America has, and I quote, an implicit bias against minorities.
When people say we're oppressed here in the United States, how?
In much of the Democratic Party, it's now fashionable to say that America is racist. That is a lie.
My optimism and my faith in this country is reflected in those young people.
This is who we still are. Compassionate, resilient, decent people.
America's ready, in John's words, to lay down, quote, the heavy burden of state at last, and to end the hard work of rooting out our systemic racism.
Rioters must not be allowed to destroy our cities.
These radicals are not content with marching in the streets. They want to walk the halls of Congress. They want to take over. They want power. This is Joe Biden's party.
Crime, violence, and mob rule. But mass chaos in the streets gets a pass.
If the Democrat Party wants to stand with anarchists, agitators, rioters, looters, and flag burners, that is up to them.
How do we, the people, take the protest and turn them into progress?
Just imagine if the so-called peaceful demonstrators in the streets were in charge of every lever of power in the U.S. government.
With Bernie, AOC, Pelosi, Black Lives Matter, and his party's entire left wing just waiting to execute their pro-criminal, anti-police socialist policies.
We must never allow mob rule.
So it's up to us to carry on the fight for justice.
We need a president who, in George Floyd's memory, instead of using the Bible as a prop, will heed its words to act justly.
Please join me in a moment of silence to honor George and the many other souls we lost to hate and injustice. And when this moment ends, let's make sure we never stop saying their names.